Happy 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. First BRAP of the new year. And I'm sorry, give me a second here. First BRAP of the new year. And look, we're just excited to be here. Hope everyone had a great holiday. And wishing everyone all the best in 2023. Before we get the show started, though, I do want to just send out thoughts and prayers to Hogue and his family, Hogue Law. For those who don't know, Hogue had he had a medical incident, where he needed to go to the hospital. I don't have all the details, but it sounds like some rehabilitation is in order. And look, it seems like he's doing better, and that he is, based on the tweets and updates I've seen from his wife, Mrs. Hogue, that he is responding and sounds like doing better than what they initially thought. So just want to give thoughts and prayers to Hogue, and a speedy recovery to him, and again, just thoughts and prayers to him and his family. So wanted to mention that as well. And also, if you guys don't follow Post Up, happy to hear you're doing better too. He was in the hospital as well. So just wanted to mention that, give those two individuals a shout out and thoughts and prayers to them. And Zaire too. Zaire was also in the hospital. So look, let's not this is why I say, people getting emotionally distraught and upset over the FTC versus Microsoft thing, and about plastic boxes with wires and CPUs in them, is just, look, there's bigger things in life that are certainly more important than video games and console warring and being upset about Lena Khan and the FTC versus Microsoft. So yes, want to wish all those gentlemen speedy recovery, and thoughts and prayers with the family. So thank you. Bulbor Country says, happy belated to you, Brap. Thank you. Yes, yesterday was my birthday. Yes, I celebrated my birthday yesterday. I've hit level 46. When I was younger, I used to love that my birthday was right after Christmas because it meant double gifts for me, but now it just means that I get older before everyone else, because some people do have a buffer between the new year and their birthday. So now I'm like, geez, I wish my birthday was like middle of the year. In the summertime would be fantastic. So but anyhow, look, we're not doing the by the way, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. By the way, thank you so much for everyone that comes here every time we go live. Really appreciate it. There'd be no BRAP without the live chat, and there'd be no BRAP without those who come by and listen to the show later on after we go off air and catch the replay. So thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And look, we don't have to agree. It's okay to disagree, but let's disagree thoughtfully and respectfully, I might add. Thoughtfully and respectively, I might add. So respectfully. I said respectfully. Thoughtfully and respectfully, I might add. Thank you for that, Church Keys. And I think, Church Keys, you wished me a happy birthday on Twitter, so thank you again for that. But again, look, this is, if you're looking for a place that's gonna, we're not here to provide any confirmation bias. We are here to have an open conversation. If you're looking for a podcast that likes to put out misinformation, disinformation, if you want to listen to a podcast that's intellectually dishonest, you've come to the wrong place. We don't do that here. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Falky, what's up, man? Thank you, Falky, by the way. Yes, X-Abbott, I only come here to disagree, but yes, never personally insult people. Yes, X-Abbott, thank you for that. Look, again, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. I want to stress that. We can all have a difference of opinions. We can all disagree. And speaking of opinions, like I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And I hope people just remember that, because the issue that we have on this show, and that I have in particular, is that when people present opinions or misinformation, disinformation as it is facts, and base the premise of their whole entire argument or rebuttal on misinformation, disinformation, and that's just not something that we do here. And there's a lot of that being pushed through, pushed out by other podcasts. And look, if you want that, those podcasts exist. We're not doing that here. We're trying to do something different. And thank you. Who cares? Not me. Thank you for the birthday wishes. But look, we just strive to be a different type of show. What we've always strived to do. And again, we're not here to, pom one console brand over the another or whatever the case is. We just don't do that. So, yeah, yes, Boycat. I mean, what were the rules again? And when people present thoughtfully and respectfully, yeah, yeah. You can look thoughtfully and respectfully. Falky, no one's on the show today, so I was gonna do today's Wednesday, so we have our 9 p.m. show on Wednesdays, and I decided that look, I got a little bit of the Halo Infinite bug. I was off work last week and had an opportunity to play video games, and after beating Ragnarok, I was like, okay, like what am I going to play next? And so I hadn't played Fortnite in a long time, so I got back, started playing Fortnite, and then I played Halo Infinite. I think I played with Hamp. I think Hamp was playing Halo Infinite. I joined him for a match or two, and then Slow-Mo Backslap joined us, and then and then when Slow-Mo joins, you're getting put into the sweaty rooms, or not, maybe I shouldn't say sweaty rooms. You're getting into matches with the sweaties on Halo Infinite, and so I was like getting my butt kicked. And I did play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I got back into that, into Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. Started playing that with Hamp and Slow-Mo. Did okay. Found the loadout that suits my play style and doing much better. So, but we're playing with Slow-Mo and Ham, and when Slow-Mo enters the lobby, it's like you're gonna be playing against the sweats because King KD's got skills. For those who don't know, King KD is Slow-Mo, and I got back on, and I'm like, wow, I'm getting my butt kicked, and I don't like that. Really doesn't happen with me with Halo Infinite. I do have and I don't know if I do anymore, but my KD overall is above 1 point, is above even. It's above 1.0. I think it was like 1.5. I think last time I checked, or 1 point, maybe 1.4. I don't remember. I don't remember now, but definitely higher than 1.0. So, but I'm playing these matches with Slow-Mo and Ham, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I'm getting massacred here. So. Started playing. I got the itch to play Halo Infinite, and so instead of having a show tonight at 9 p.m., I'm like, I want to get back on. I want to play some Halo Infinite. I want to practice. I want to get better. And I finally, after a year, literally a year, by the way, I decided to unbox the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller after having it for a year. And so I'm gonna start using that controller for Halo Infinite and probably for Call of Duty as well. Have it hooked up to my PC, and so that's what I'm gonna do. But so instead of having our 9 p.m. show tonight, I decided to do the 5:30 p.m. show, and gonna play some Halo Infinite tonight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some gaming tonight. So. Thank you, Mario Heat. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, Don Enrique. That's funny. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, Falky, no one's on the show today, man. So if you want to hop in, definitely feel free. But yeah, I do want to just talk about a couple things here. And I was thinking about like 2023 being a new year, and I'm gonna have a discussion about So we'll be discussing here's what Xbox needs in 2023. We'll talk about what's next with the FTC versus Microsoft because they did have their preliminary hearing yesterday. And then we're talking about a huge PlayStation 5 exclusive update, something that a lot of PlayStation fans have been waiting for news on. And we finally got some news today via the Naughty Dog blog. By the way, big shout out to Naughty Dog, who reported that 37 million copies of The Last of Us series has been sold. That's huge. That is like Nintendo territory for first party games. Church keys, I think it depends. I think if you're playing competitively and you're using a controller, then I would say playing competitively in terms of first person shooters and maybe racers where you need that precision. I would say yes. Then you may want to look at those controllers. I actually was talking to my good buddy OBM, One Bad Mother, who is a big Halo aficionado and very good at Halo, I should add. He was giving me some tips in terms of how to because you could change the trigger sensitivity on the Elite Series X controller. So basically, what that means is it takes less. There's less input lag when you pull the trigger, or less firing time when you pull the trigger, and you can adjust the sticks to make them loose or a little more tense if you want, depending on your preference. But yeah, I would say if you're playing competitively, and or you have the means to just because you want it, then yeah, I would say definitely look into it. I don't have one for the PS5. I only have one for the Series X. I think for shooters, I do prefer the layout of the Xbox controllers. Although with the newly designed DualSense controllers, I do play Fortnite on PlayStation 5 as well. I don't mind the just because that controller is more weighty and bigger than the DualShock. I don't mind that controller, but the extra paddles, the lower response. I mean, I haven't implemented paddles just yet, but from what I gather from just talking to OBM, who uses paddle lock, he says that he's like, once you go paddles, you can't go back. He said that his movement's much quicker. He doesn't have to take his hands off his thumb off the right thumbstick because he's using paddles and things. So and that's for Halo Infinite. So yeah, I will eventually incorporate the paddles, but into baby steps. Look, it took a year to unbox this controller, so just baby steps. But do me a favor, everyone. Please hit the like button. We have almost 80 people here watching. Please hit that like button. If you're new to the show, subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. I think we have like 3,128 subs. Let's get up to like 3,130 if we can today. I would definitely appreciate the support as always. But all right, let's talk about what's next with the FTC versus Microsoft lawsuit. And look, we know about the FTC suing to block the acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft. There was a narrative going out there that people were saying, well, there's bias here at the FTC. It's their own administrative judge. And I just want to say something. And I need to find this article, but and Hamp, geez, I wish Hamp was here. Hamp had posted an article. I think he posted or shared it. I don't remember, but I'll look this up. But there's no, that's not entirely true. I saw people, and this is where I kind of get frustrated because people, like, I can understand, like, people think, okay, what's the FTC's administrative judge and they work for the FTC, therefore they're going to be biased. And that's not the case. An administrative judge actually just recently ruled, an FTC administrative judge just ruled against the FTC. So again, that kind of destroys that argument, that bias that people were saying about this deal. And I've seen people start using because Axon, which is a company that's going through a merger right now, which the FTC has sued to block as well, has gone and has said that the FTC is violating their Fifth Amendment rights of due process. So there's that. That's what the Supreme Court case is all about, where they want to be able to go through a federal judge while simultaneously going through the administrative process with the FTC. Right now, you cannot do that. You have to go through the administrative process first, and then you can go to a federal judge for an appeal. But the idea that these administrative judges are automatically biased towards the FTC, we have that recent example I just gave where administrative judge who works for the FTC actually disagreed with the FTC. There was the preliminary hearing yesterday, and I'm reading the Reuters article, and basically what's come away from that is, look, there are no substantive settlement discussions underway between the Biden administration and Microsoft Corporation to resolve a legal dispute over Xbox maker's $69 billion bid for games maker Activision Blizzard, the Federal Trade Commission attorney said Tuesday. So the FTC attorney in this case is James Weingarten, and speaking in brief telephonic pretrial hearing, he said, again, there's no substantive settlement discussions between two sides underway, and Microsoft is arguing that the deal would benefit gamers and game companies alike. It's something they've been discussing quite a bit, but Michael Chappelle, who's the FTC administrative law judge for this particular case, he will rule on and deal after the hearings set for August of 2023. It does sound like the FTC is open to settlement discussions, but nothing substantive has happened just yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. Again, like I tell people, look, just let the process play out. Look, is this thing's going to go either way? I still think that this deal goes through. Because people have been asking my opinion, what I think. I do think this deal goes through, but I do think there's going to be some concessions in order for this deal to happen. And I haven't really come to a conclusion what I think those concessions should be or what they might be, but I do think there'll be some kind of concessions made in order for this deal to happen. And I think it's going to happen with the CMA and EU as well. It's interesting. I'm seeing some people kind of put more of their faith into the CMA and EU, but I would only caution that from a historical perspective that the CMA and EU are harder on big tech, especially the big five from the U.S. And I don't think it's going to be as easy there as some people think that it might be. So, but again, I think the deal goes through, but I do think it goes through with concessions. Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. We'll find out later this year how this works out. Microsoft still seems pretty confident that this deal is going to close. They have till June 2023 for the deal to close, but Microsoft seems pretty bullish that this deal will close. So we'll see. But that's the more recent update on the FTC versus Microsoft suit to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So, all right. So let me talk about. There was some. Give me a sec here. I have my work laptop open and I'm just responding to an email. Let's see here. All right, so I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Last of Us Factions multiplayer got new concept art, and Naughty Dog put out a developer blog post, and they discussed how this June will mark 10 years since the original Last of Us launched on PlayStation 3. That's crazy, 10 years? 10 years! I can't believe it's been 10 years since the... Oh, I guess Hamp is listening. It's a survey from 2021. Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Hamp. That's another. Never mind. I'm calling Hamp out like he's listening to the podcast. He's talking about something else. All right. Never mind. All right. So I can't believe it's been 10 years. By the way, big shout out to Gene Park, who is a journalist, covers the game industry for the Washington Post. He's actually on Monday, January the 9th, and this is going to be part of the Washington Post Path Forward live conversation series, highlighting the captains of the industry. He's actually going to have Neil Druckmann on. It starts at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, and if you're not following Gene Park, definitely give him a follow. He does a great job covering the gaming industry for the Washington Post, and I'm actually really excited to and really excited to see Gene back to work. He's he just recovered from cancer, and so just had a bout with cancer and is doing much better now. Is back in good health and working again. So that's happy to see Gene in great health again. And he is he's excited, as I think many would, to to have Neil Druckmann on at this as part of this the Path Forward series that the Washington Post is doing. So definitely check that out. But yeah, I can't believe it's been 10 years. I mean, if I think about the 10 years, the impact of this game has had on me. I mean, it's easily one of my favorite franchises. It's look, I've played. It's funny when I remember when people. And the gaming community tends to do this, by the way. They tend to, and it's funny. Hamp actually sat in on a gaming industry webinar, or not webinar, gaming industry video call when he did a piece for VentureBeat or GamesBeat, and there were some people, investors, are talking about the gaming industry and how the gaming industry tends to. People in the gaming community tend to gamers will overreact about an announcement or something. Like if you go back to when Bethesda announced the downloadable paid downloadable content for horse armor for, I think it was I believe it was Skyrim, and people were angry, like, oh my god, I'm gonna pay for horse armor, this is crazy, this is greedy corporations, and people were angry, and here we are 10 years, and all these years later, more than a decade later. And we and so they were saying, look, gamers are, and look, DRM, go back to the launch of the Xbox One and the and them announcing, and finding out about DRM and the knee-jerk reaction by gamers, and here we are in 2023, and DMR is very much a part of our console experience. So the point of that video conference just highlighted that, and these individuals who work in the industry said, hey, look, they'll get angry, and you wait, and you change the messaging a little bit, and you kind of and they'll change their tunes later. So when I think about The Last of Us remake, and I remember the hoopla over people saying, well, who asked for this remake? Well, if you're asking that question, it's not for you, but it's for people that want to relive that experience, or people who just bought a PlayStation 5 and had that experience. And we know that there certainly were people that wanted the game. The remake actually did chart on NPD top 5 for the U.S. For the month that it released in September. So clearly, you look at the NPD numbers. There's demand there, and those numbers are only for physical sales for The Last of Us remake, not digital. So playing The Last of Us remake actually made me think that I actually prefer The Last of Us remake, or The Last of Us Part 1. I do prefer it to Part 2. I don't think I'd want to go back and play Part 2 again. Not that it was a bad game. I just think one's the better experience. I think there was some things, and I was talking to Hamp about this today. Like there was instances where you would go through these flashbacks in The Last of Us Part 2, and it just kind of broke the immersion, the story, the cohesiveness for me, and I just didn't really care for that. Again, not that it was a terrible game. It was one of the better games that I played when it came out, but definitely not, in my opinion, better than the first Last of Us. But still, 10 years later, here we are this June. The Last of Us. And so one of the things they announced too is that the entire franchise has sold more, as I mentioned earlier, 37 million copies globally as of December 2022. I mean, that's a huge milestone. So Naughty Dog did provide a small update on Factions multiplayer, which if you don't know, was set in the Last of Us universe. They did say, we'll have some fun surprises for you along the way, but later this year, we will begin to offer you some details on our ambitious The Last of Us multiplayer game. And that's not the first time that I've heard ambition to describe this version of The Last of Us multiplayer game that Naughty Dog is working on. Look, and this is a game that many in the I'm going to use Twitter gaming community, because I don't know what the temperature is outside of Twitter gaming community for this particular game, but many of the PlayStation fans or fans of this series have been asking for this game and trying to get an update. People were disappointed actually when The Last of Us 2 was announced and Factions was not part of that. Was not part of the game. But I'm excited because this has been an area where I think Sony has needed some improvement, and that's first party multiplayer games. First party multiplayer games. That's kind of been a shining point for Xbox, where they have Halo Infinite. Now they have Doom first party. Presumably, if this deal goes through with Activision, they'll have Call of Duty as a first party game. We do know that Sony is working on, I think it's 10 or 11 first party, live service games. Some of them are, shooters, but and I'm aware of 2 games that were greenlit that are already running on the PS5 that my understanding look phenomenal on that platform, but those are multiplayer shooters. But yeah, I mean, this is there's a lot of fans of the series, of PlayStation fans, that are really excited that we got some news of this game, and it's probably one of the more I think one of the games that's really that the community is really looking forward to. So I'm certainly interested in learning more about this ambitious version of Factions that they're working on. So they did release some new some new concept art as well. There's a concept art again, apocalyptic, a big cruise ship in the background, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought that really kind of spoke to the scope of because I don't think I've ever seen a big like set piece like that in the last. Well, they have the cities that you go through, but I don't know, something really kind of just hit seeing a cruise ship like that, kind of abandoned, and speaks to the state of you think cruise ships and being able to travel, and where the world where The Last of Us takes place, like that, those things just don't seemingly happen. So the blog also concludes that The Last of Us Part 1 will be coming to PC on March 3rd. We'll get some additional news in terms of specs for that. I don't know if I'm going to play. You know what? I say I don't know. I might end up playing The Last of Us Part 1 again on PC. I might do it. I might end up pulling the trigger. Look, it's one of my favorite games, and I would love to see. I'm interested to see how it looks on PC. That is, yeah. So I'm definitely looking. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So I may end up getting it again. So we'll see. And then they did provide some more inside look in the HBO TV adaptation of the game, which premieres in 11 days. So I'm excited. I am excited for the premiere of The Last of Us on HBO. I'm interested to see how they pull this off. I hope it's a good adaptation of a game to a TV show, but we'll see. But it's HBO. HBO has some good pedigree. Neil Druckmann's been involved as well in this particular project or TV adaptation. So we'll see. But that's on the 15th. So that's right around the corner. So I'm excited. All right. Let me see. I'm not sure if anyone in the live chat asked me any questions, but if I didn't respond, please ask me again. I'm trying to keep up with the live chat and do the show at the same time. So typically someone's reading the live chat while I'm talking. ZeniMax acquisition. Rob said, okay, I guess you're replying to Falky then. No, actually, Rodimus is right. The acquisition of ZeniMax was completed in, I think it was finalized in 2020. I think it was no, it was 2021. Yeah, because I remember I was actually interviewing with ZeniMax at the time for an internal position there before I came back to work at my current employer. But yeah, no, it closed 2021. Yeah, faction is not confirmed for this year. Just more to talk about. Yeah, I hope it comes out this year. I think I'd like to see, as I mentioned earlier, Bender, more. I'd like to see more first party shooters from Sony. I mean, I think it's kind of been an area of improvement for them. It's been an area where I've been disappointed. I mean, look, they make great AAA, high quality, high budget first party games, but I like to see them work on some other multiplayer FPS type games or third party games, third party perspective shooter or third person shooters, I should say, not third party. I'm not cool, and I don't have a lot of knowledge in gaming. I'll just leave it at that. I don't have any CES predictions. I haven't been keeping up with CES. I know it's ongoing right now, in part because I was off on vacation, or not vacation, but I was off for the holidays, and then I just got back to work today, so I'm still I'm just getting up to speed. With CS, I did see some things. I saw, some of the. I was reading some of the best gaming laptops that were shown at CES so far. Dell has a G series gaming laptop that's been pretty that's been talked about. And let's see, that's the one that comes to mind. Hey, there's an Acer one that comes to mind too. But I'm not in the market for a gaming laptop. And I think I did see something else. Let me see here. I did see some stuff regarding some PC hardware. I don't remember all the. I saw the NVIDIA, and I was going to talk about this, but I'm going to wait to get Slow-Mo and Hamp on as well. Talk about the NVIDIA RTX 4070 Ti, which gets an official price point for at $799. So it's the RTX 40 12 gigabyte resurrected for $800. It's supposedly set to outperform the RTX 3090 Ti, so we'll see at $800. But I did want to get. Let's see here. I'll give you. So the card's going to have 7,680 CUDA cores, 12 gigabytes of GDR6X memory, and a boost clock speed of 2.61 gigahertz. And that's exactly what the specs were for the card that was formerly known as the 4080, 12 gigabytes. So, I know somebody's going to ask me if I'm going to upgrade, and the answer to that is probably no. So. Sony does have a show at 8 p.m. Thank you, Rodimus. That's right. They are revealing. They're showing off VR at it. That's right. True. I was gonna mention the LG OLEDs are supposed to be brighter. That's like an ongoing thing. That's like an ongoing thing with OLEDs. I think the Samsung OLEDs are the brightest ones. I'd have to do some research, but I know ratings.com gave the Samsung OLED that came out, that Samsung release. That T-Rock actually just bought. They gave that a top rating as the best TV of 2022, I believe. I have to go back and look, but I know they gave it a very high rating, and they didn't mention that one of the things that was nice about that Samsung is the brightness, and so that's kind of the trade-off with OLEDs. I still prefer OLEDs just because of the the deep black levels you get, and the picture quality is just superb. Great viewing angles. I recommend if you're somebody in the market looking for high-end TV to complement your gaming experience, I would highly recommend an OLED. I would think LG or the Samsungs. Samsung's a little bit newer on the market, but but I would recommend either one. You can go to ratings.com, check out their reviews on OLED. So, But yeah, Jason, I don't know about burn-in. I know burn-in. Look, it can be an issue, but it's not a. I come from the days of owning plasma TVs, and I can tell you plasmas have more burn-in ghosting than OLEDs. And actually, I had to stop gaming on a plasma TV because I was getting some ghosting, and I haven't had that issue with my OLED. I do game on it quite a bit, but I also watch different types of because that's the other thing. Watch different types of programming, and there are some things that think that the TVs have to mitigate burn-in. I'm not saying that it can't happen. It's just not as prominent as it used to be. So, yeah, I have a C1 too, Truceum. I love it. So yeah, no, thank you, Rodimus. So yeah, I may check out the Sony show at 8 p.m. I think you said it was, Rodimus. Let me look that up real quick. Look, anyone who's a PC owner, any interest on the 4070 Ti? I have my 3070. I'm happy with it right now. I'm not having issues running games. I play in 1440p. I'm good. Like I don't feel like I need to upgrade right now. Yeah, I think I'm good. but look, hey, if anyone's interested, look at their build their PC, have at it. But I'm interested in price performance too, and yeah, that's why I wanted to get we to talk about this too. Slow-mo and Ham come on. So obviously it's going to have support DLSS 3. And some people are saying that the 4070 Ti should deliver up to a 70% performance boost over the RTX 3070 Ti. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, so that was one of the news stories that came out of CES. But yeah, I know Acer rolled out some new laptops. New gaming laptops, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Sony show. Let me look this up real quick because I want to see what Sony might have rumored. I might have to do another video. Interesting. Sony's actually not going to announce new TVs at CES 2020, that's interesting because they've always debuted like the latest Bravia TV lineup in Vegas for Consumer Electronics Show. So what I'm reading here is that they'll focus on PSVR 2 and an upcoming electric vehicle, which I feel like they showed that off one time already. The electric vehicle. I think it's called the Vision S. Sorry, you might hear my daughter yelling in the background. Yeah, I wonder like when they're going to because I wonder when they're going to announce then new TVs then if they're not doing it at CES. So and actually the electric vehicle that they're presumably going to show off is it's something they've done. I think they're partnering with Honda on this too, and they're going to be these vehicles. I think are going to be sold in I think the U.S. in 2026, if I'm not mistaken. So anyhow, interesting that they're not showing off the Bravia. Not that I'm interested in the Bravia. Yeah, James, remember the DLPs? Woo! Lee Hampton said, Hamp, what's going on, Hamp? Hamp says, Hamp, come on, man. What is wrong with VR? Hamp's he's a secret VR fan. He just doesn't know yet. Yeah, Hamp says, TVs don't make money. No need for CS if it's not the sexy. I hear you, man. Rodimus said, rumor of a new PlayStation SKU with a detachable DVD-ROM. That's kind of, yeah, it'd be interesting if that's, I know that's been a rumor for quite some time, but it'd be interesting if that rumor comes true at CES. So we'll see. All right. So I do want to move on. And I'll probably talk about CES sometime this week as we get more, hey, Hamp, if you're the live chat, Hamp, you got some quick thoughts on the 4070 Ti? Hamp said all my VR 3 sets are stacked up in the storage room unused. Hamp, you bring those bad boys out, man. There is that quarterback simulator for the NFL that I've been seeing commercials. Maybe you can load that bad boy up and throw some dimes, maybe virtual dime. No, maybe not. Yeah, it's funny. I have the Oculus Quest. I don't even use it. I didn't really give. Well, maybe I did. My son has it. My oldest son has it in his room. He uses it more than I do. So look, at least it'll go to use. But I like VR. Yeah, Hamp, that's what I was waiting for too, man. Like I was waiting for some of these more reliable sources to to run those benchmarks on the 4070 Ti. But yeah, I'm interested to see price performance, see what that looks like for the 4070 Ti. Be interesting. All right, so I want to talk about what Xbox needs in 2023. Let me just say this real quick. This is just my perspective. Because I know people are going to be like, oh my God, look, here's my thought on Xbox, and I'll give you, and if you listen to the show, you probably have heard me talk about Game Pass quite a bit. So look, before people think that I hate, I'm just an Xbox hater. No, look, here's the thing. My criticism comes from my experience with Xbox. My experience with Xbox. Let me repeat that. My criticism and my experience with Xbox. Mine, not yours, mine. See, a lot of shows won't do that. They won't preface things like that. Because I understand that everyone's going to have the same experience of me with the Xbox console, okay? So, look, I think Game Pass, tremendous value proposition. Like, I don't... You're never going to hear me say that that's not that value proposition doesn't exist. However, for me, the reason why I signed up for Game Pass was because, yeah, Philip, I wouldn't listen to him. I mean, he's part of the issue in the gaming community where people are, pushing out propaganda and aren't being intellectually honest. But yeah. But he is right in one sense. I mean, they're doing fine, but they're doing better than they did last generation, so that's an improvement. But and look, I think Game Pass for them was right, Hamp. They're not the market leader. I think he said they were market leader in subscription services. I think he said, which yeah. Bulmore is funny. He said, "BRAP, nobody thinks you hate Xbox. You used the Duke controller and was proud of it. You've been tainted forever." Hey, look, I did use the Duke controller. I wasn't a fan of it, but I used it. So Game Pass, tremendous value proposition there. What's up, Jay the Destroyer? I don't disagree with that. I think it for the right consumer, there's tremendous opportunity for value. There's tremendous value add opportunity there. That was actually Hamp, by the way, Bullbore. That was Hamp that actually loved the Duke controller. That was Hamp. So look, here's the thing. I Game Pass, tremendous value, right? Value proposition. I also don't think Game Pass is for everyone. And if you were asking me why I think that, just look at the numbers. Like, 30 million people subscribed to 30 million people subscribed to Game Pass. If everyone thought it was an absolute value, that number would be higher. Okay. The other thing I was going to mention is when I signed up for Game Pass, when Microsoft announced it, I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. $120 a year. And I subscribe for the 180 because I have Game Pass on I have Game Pass Ultimate, so I can use it on PC and Xbox. I have a PC, which is the best gaming platform out there. If you don't have a PC, this is by the way me showing my bias. Then I would say buy a PC. It's the best gaming experience ever. So when I signed up for Game Pass, like the first thing that came to my mind wasn't access to a library of older games or smaller titles. You know, games, and not to take away from games like Pentiment, or games like A Plague's Tale Requiem. I mean, those are great games. Well, I haven't played Pentiment, but the reviews for it have been very positive. So if you just looking at the reviews, Pentiment, it's most people seem to think most of the people that review the game seem to think it's a good game, and you know, some of the feedback I've seen from people who have actually played. I know Slow-Mo played the game and said he really enjoyed it. So that being said, when I signed up for Game Pass, I never looked at it as, okay, I'm signing up for this service to get access for, you know, older titles, games I didn't play, or smaller budget titles. And there's nothing wrong with those with indie games or AA games going to Game Pass. For me, hey, what's up, Ryan Landis? Happy New Year to you, sir. For me, it was I was like, okay, $120 for a year. Holy shit! Like, if they release two $60 AAA games a year, then I'm good. And everything else is icing on the cake that goes into that service. If I get 3 AAA titles, oof, even better. Even better. That cake's even bigger and better. And everything else is icing on the cake. They haven't done that for me. So I've only used Xbox Game Pass once for the year 2022, and that was for Plague's Tale Requiem. And so I haven't seen a very good return on my investment here. So what I think needs to happen in 2023, one, I think that I'm not. They've released some quality smaller budget games like I mentioned Pentiment in Game Pass. They did get Plague's Tale Requiem, which was a great addition to Game Pass. But I think what they need is, for me, I think that for me to use this service more, they need to drop some AAA games in here. And I'm talking about AAA games that are quality AAA titles. Now, I know people say quality is subjective. I get that. But I'm talking about games that just resonate with a lot of gamers. And what I mean by that, like, if you look at games that are, the one thing I'll say, like, when you get games that review well from, different media sites, people have different taste. People have different tolerance levels for story or lack thereof, but mechanics, bugs, But when you can get a consensus, I think, amongst different reviewers, gamers in general, like if you can get a consensus of a game being providing a quality experience, that's what I think from a AAA perspective they need to have. Like you look at God of War Ragnarok, look at the consensus there with the reviewers, look at the feedback in the community, the consensus with the community. Again, think about people having different taste in games, and that's not easy to do, I don't think. And as I'm looking at the $180 I spend, like I need them to start releasing some be better at managing that production pipeline, which you talked about here on the show, of AAA titles, and start getting some of those big titles out. I'm talking about quality titles too, and I think they need that. Remember what if you go back 20 something years on Xbox, you've been gaming on Xbox, I can guarantee you that you probably picked up an original Xbox, for one game, and that's Halo. That's Halo. And that's what I want to see from them. I want to see them create a game that just has that kind of impact. And I want to see more of those quality AAA titles into Game Pass, whether it's twice a year, 3 times a year. because for me, I'm not using it. I'm not using it. They had a lot of the games that they put in there are games that haven't appealed to me. I don't, I may go back and try Pentiment at some point. But a lot of the games, like the ZeniMax acquisition was great, but a lot of the games that got dumped into the catalog are games that I already played. And there's enough new content, there's enough new quality content that's coming out that's new, that's been keeping me away from Game Pass. And that's because there hasn't been enough new quality content being put into Game Pass that I want to play. So that's what I think Microsoft needs to improve on 2023. Yeah, I mean, Church Keys, Mechasol, Crimson Skies, what? I mean, those are great games. Ninja Gaiden. So that's what I think Microsoft needs to do in 2023. I think, and look, and I think if they want to move the needle with Game Pass, I think that they need to have these games that really just have this impact, and that just resonate with people of different tastes, and just I think about. Thank you for stopping by, Ice Cream Game. I appreciate it. Thank you. That have the kind of impact and just wow experiences that you don't get. Look, and I'm not saying they need to, have the over-the-shoulder, wide linear path type design in their games like Sony does, but just that impact, like they had with Gears, with Halo. That's the kind of content that I want to see in Game Pass for me. Because as it stands, I'm not using Game Pass at all, and if they deliver those, and I'm thinking about like if they deliver those games at $70, those games are going to be $70 now. We know that these AAA experiences, and you're looking at 2 or 3 releases, then I'm well over that $180 I spent, because that's how I look at Game Pass. Yeah, I know people say, "Oh, it's not going to happen in the Game Pass model." I'm not so. Look, I am not there where I don't think it's possible. But I do think that like Fable needs to hit. You're rebooting Perfect Dark, that needs to hit. This year, the only release that I'm interested from Microsoft first party is Starfield. And I would say Starfield needs to hit. But I'm not interested in like I see Rocky Gaming, like Ghostwire Tokyo, Hellblade 2. Yeah, I'm interested in Hellblade 2, but there's no release date on that. So that doesn't do anything for me 2023. I'm not interested in Ghostwire. I'm on the fence with Redfall. I'm not interested in Forza. Starfield's the only game I'm looking forward to. Starfield needs to hit. Starfield needs to have that like impact where people are like, holy shit, you see Starfield? Well, at least for me. I shouldn't say everyone, but for me, I want to see that impact. I want to see I like, as I one of the things I like about gaming is, and this is just my taste, I like these epic experiences, these adventures, whether it's an open world game or, a more linear type game, great storytelling, great action, just memorable experiences where I just put the controller down and say, wow, what an experience. And look, that doesn't have to be every game, but I just haven't had that on Xbox in quite some time. And that's what I would like to see from them in 2023. I think that's what they need in 2023. And if you're looking, if you want to have the discussion about, well, how can they grow Game Pass? How can they get more people into Game Pass? I think that's one way you do it. I've always said, like, imagine if I made this argument a long time ago. I said, imagine if Microsoft's first party is putting out games, you know, big AAA, you know, blockbuster Hollywood type games, the same quality as Sony first party, and they're putting that in Game Pass. Like, watch out. So, but that's what I think. That's what I think they need in 23. Better 2023. Better. You do a better job at managing their production pipeline, their release schedules, and give us. I want to see some AAA games from them. I want to see these. I want to have these epic AAA experiences. You know, I said this before on BRAP. Like they said $500 for the Series X. It eats monsters for men. Or no, eats monsters for breakfast. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said monsters for men. It eats monsters for breakfast. It's 12 teraflops. Velocity architecture. And I haven't seen a game that speaks to the power of that console yet. That's a shame to me. I spent $500. Now, again, I'm not saying that someone can't enjoy their Xbox Series X. I'm not saying that because I know people, to each his own. But my point is, for me, based on the market, they just haven't delivered. And that's been my issue with Microsoft, the lack of delivery on a consistent basis. You have this great platform in Game Pass. You have this powerful console. And I feel like I'm still having this conversation about Xbox. And I'm still looking at my Series X. It doesn't really get used. I mean, I just turned it on the other day to play Fortnite so I could turn it on because I haven't turned on my Series X in a long time. But also goes back to the announcement of Game Pass when I said, look, when Microsoft said, look, you know, Game Pass, $120 a year, you get access to first party games. My immediate thought was, wow, Halo, Gears, you know, Forza. I was actually playing Forza at the time. I don't play it now. But I'm like, wow, like this is like all those AAA games that cost $60 and everything else is the icing on the cake. I haven't had that experience in Game Pass where and that's why I think Starfield needs to hit for me. It's good. If Starfield doesn't hit, and I think it will, given the pedigree of Todd Howard and Bethesda. But as it stands right now in 2023, there isn't anything that's going to be dropping on Game Pass that really has me excited other than Starfield. And that game doesn't come out till June. Boomer Country, Brett, what was your last wow moment for Xbox? Oh, probably Gears of War. Probably Gears of War. And not that the other games they released are games that I haven't enjoyed. Like I liked Rise Son of Rome, but it wasn't a wow moment. And not every game has to be a wow moment. I'm just saying for me, there hasn't been that wow moment where, you know, and when I think about why I signed up for Game Pass all those years ago, and I thought about the wow moments that I could have for $120 a year when games are retailing for $60, I'm like, damn, if I can get 2 or 3 AAA titles out of Game Pass a year, I'm solid. I'm solid. Plus the other smaller titles. Robinson, I mean, no, I mean, look, like Atomic Heart, no, that's not. Yeah, MLB The Show. Yeah, MLB The Show. I did get MLB The Show 2022, but I don't play MLB The Show 2023. I just not interested in it. You know, and with some of these smaller titles, like, you know, a sec here. Hold on a sec. Sorry, guys. Give me a sec here. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, yeah, I just, like I said, I mean, I just haven't got the usage out of it that I thought I was going to get and that I wanted. I think unless things change for me and they start releasing more of those bigger AAA titles, you know, so see, Erodimus is rattling off all these titles. I'm not interested in playing those titles. And like Hollow Knight, I don't need Game Pass to play Hollow Knight. I could, it's not a game that if I wanted, I could buy it on the cheap. To me, that game's not worth the cost of admission for Game Pass. Yeah, I was actually excited for Scalebound. Scalebound was actually one of the games I was looking forward to. So again, for me, I want to see more of those big AAA games in Game Pass. That's what I want to see because that's what I signed up for. And I think for me, if they continue the path of not releasing these big AAA games, and Game Pass becomes a place where you get more AA, smaller titles, which is fine if you enjoy those types of titles. Like I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. But if that's what happens with Game Pass, then I'm not gonna subscribe anymore because it's not worth the investment for me. No, Rodimus, what I'm saying is like I wouldn't let me clarify. I wouldn't sign up for Game Pass to play a game that retails for $15. Like that wouldn't be a motivation for me to stay in Game Pass, especially if I don't have interest in those games. I just don't. As I mentioned, like when I signed up for Game Pass, I was signing up for those AAA experiences, and we got them. I think Gears 5 and what was another game came out when Gears 5 came out. We got a taste of it, or what Game Pass could be. No, I mean I'm not going to buy any games that are permanent fixtures on Game Pass. Why would I? Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, Rocky. Game Pass isn't for everybody. I don't, and this is where I get a little like I wouldn't say that it's the best dealing. I would say it's the best value proposition in gaming. But yeah, I don't disagree with you, Rocky. Like it's yeah. But yeah, so that's what I want to see. I want to see just more AAA games from them. I think they're at a point now. Look, I understand the games take time to to develop and things like that. But 2018 I think is when they announced their first acquisitions. 5 years later, in a new console generation, here we are, and it's like it's been kind of dry for their first party stuff. And not that they haven't had some smaller titles released in Game Pass that people have enjoyed, but there just hasn't been anything that really makes me say, well, I can't wait for this, to play this in Game Pass. That just hasn't happened. And so, hopefully that changes with these acquisitions. Hopefully we get a little more. Hopefully we and that's the other thing, Falky. Like, I was hoping too that maybe that Microsoft would have said, "Hey, we'll get some third party." Hold on a sec, guys. Slow mo. Slow-Mo? Slow-Mo. I don't know if Slow-Mo's there. Slow-Mo's in the chat, but I don't... Slow-Mo! I don't know. Maybe Slow-Mo might be playing a game. I'm going to wait for Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, are you there? Maybe Slow-Mo jumped into the BRAP show chat. Oh, no, he left. Yeah, I think he jumped in by accident. All right. So, so that's... I wonder if Slow-Mo's going to come back. Probably not. All right. So that's just, look, that my 2 cents on what I think they need in 2023. But look, I'm excited for Starfield. I really am. That is one of my most anticipated games this year.
Hello. Oh, there we go.
There we go. What's up, Slow-Mo? I'm about to give up on you, man.
Nothing much, man. I don't know what happened. I was trying to get in, and Discord just wanted to act up for some reason. But yeah, I'm here.
I thought you were hopping in to play some Halo Infinite or something.
Oh, that's later. You know.
Yeah. So.
No. I saw you were still on. You know, to figure, hey, why not come in here and speak my piece on some things. I don't know what you're talking about, but
Well, I was just talking about like what I think Xbox needs in 2023. And I'm going to do like what so-and-so needs for 2023 for Sony and Nintendo.
Oh, okay. So what does Xbox need for 2023? AAA games?
And that's what I said.
First party games? Yeah. That's so... I mean, I would think even the hardest of hardcore Xbox fans can agree to that and it was a major disappointment in 2022 to not have any AAA first party games coming from that particular platform. Sure, they did have a first party game in Pentiment, but that game was barely AA. We're talking about games where that really gravitate people towards.
But wait, you like that game though? I
do like that game.
Yeah, I just want to make that.
I said PlayStation because I see somebody said PlayStation in the chat. Sorry. Pentiment has a very, very good story. The writing in that game is so good, and it's very much a part of that era, that Enlightenment kind of era where there's a transitioning from the Catholic Church to more Protestant Christianity religion, and just like how that permeated throughout that world, and with everything that they did. Like if you play the game and play it to its completion, you see that there's really a good game there. Now the problem that comes with that, and it's not Obsidian's fault or Josh Sawyer's fault, who was the head lead director of the game, is that because that's the only first party game to come from Xbox in 2022, there's an unfair expectation put upon it. It reminds me of what happened to Xbox in 2018 when State of Decay 2 came out and Sea of Thieves. Both of them had issues for different reasons. State of Decay 2 came out a buggy mess at launch, and Sea of Thieves came out with no content. But those games weren't supposed to be system seller, the marquee game of the year kind of games. They should have been more of like the kind of game that you're playing in between Halo and Gears. Hey, Halo just came out, it's awesome. Oh no, I'm gonna go play State of Decay 2, and then Gears comes out. Like it should have been that filler kind of game where it kind of fills in the gaps of genres that the platform also supports, but not your marquee game. But instead, because they had no games,
should be the icing on the cake.
Yeah, because they had no games, it's being compared to God of War 2018 that came out, a month later. It's like, it's not fair. And so for Pentiment came out like a few days before, a few weeks before God of War Ragnarok. That's not fair. But that's the kind of comparison that you get, and why people are like, well, if I'm looking at two platforms, let's say you're walking into a game, so you're walking into Forte's GameStop, and you're like about to buy a console, and you're looking at the Xbox Series X, and you're looking at the PS5, and you're like, well, the PS5's got all the great games that came out at the end of the PS4 generation, in addition to Returnal, God of War Ragnarok, in addition to Horizon Forbidden Bore, and all that other stuff, right?
Hey,
And
easy
then
there, easy there.
it's boring. I'm sorry. And then you look on Xbox side, and you're just like, I mean, it's got all the other AAA games that I play, the 2Ks, the Call of Duties, the Maddens. But outside of that, there's Pentiment. You see, like that's the unfortunate aspect of it, why people make those comparisons, because when someone's going to go buy a system, that's what they're looking at. Well, I could go play Pentiment, a point and click RPG that's not even as popular as like, you know, your turn-based RPGs, or your, you know, like that's like the least popular kind of RPG. So it's just not a fair comparison at all. But that's the position that they put Obsidian in, and that's the position that they put gamers in when gamers have to make a decision on what they're going to play. So this year they changed that. They need to have these games released. They need to have Hellblade 2 come out later this year. I don't know if it is or not. I doubt it, because they didn't even show it at the Video Game Awards. But they kind of need that. They need Starfield to hit. They need Redfall to hit. Yeah. Steve Fresh says that he likes reading a game, reading a reading game. Yeah, stupid that is. Steve Fresh.
What you say?
He likes a reading game. My favorite game of all time is Chrono Trigger. There is zero voice acting. All the dialogue I'm reading.
Chrono Cross.
Chrono Cross is garbage, but we can move on.
Chrono Cross is the Carson Wentz of the Chrono series.
Yes, that's accurate. One RPG that I'm loving right now, Chained Echoes, has zero voice acting?
Oh, how is Chained? You know what? How, dude?
Chained Echoes is awesome. It's awesome. If you love those kind of old school RPGs, it's awesome. But you're reading in that. In every single game that you play, you have to read stuff. Like, if you don't like that you have to read stuff, I'm sorry that your education was that lacking. Sorry. I mean, that's maybe you should work on that. But no, I'm just like, if you make that kind of comment, then you open yourself up for that kind of criticism that you don't like to read because reading's hard.
Actually, Chain Echoes in Game Pass. I may have found a game I may try out in Game Pass finally for 2023. And let me get Hamp in here, and then Falky just joined us. Hamp, what's up, man?
Hang on, man. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you, Hamp.
Does it sound horrible? Because I'm on Bluetooth in the car, so I don't want to go on if it's bad to listen to.
I think you sound fine. If the live chat can let us know.
You sound like you work at Arby's.
I don't think he's that bad,
but and you're talking to us through the intercom. It's not quite that bad, but it's close.
Yeah, go.
I know you have a high standard for slow-mo, for audio slow-mo, so I'll put that on a grading curve.
Okay, no problem.
Hey, Hamp, by the way, check your DMs too. Go ahead, Hamp.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to mention is, and I've had this difference in point of view with the chat, and it kind of hinges a little bit on what Slow-Mo mentioned also. Right, I just want to call out the perspective that not everyone has the same rubric, right? Which I think we've championed on the show, and we've said not everybody looks at things from the same value point. So we're not going to like that it's said, right? But the fact of the matter is that there are more consumers coming into the market now that look at things as having a different value proposition, and some of those value propositions are commodity, right? So just like you have people who want to go to Ruth's Chris, or want to go to what is the name of the steakhouse with the M in DC?
You're talking about Morton's.
Yes, right. Some people want to go to Morton's. I enjoy a Morton's steak every now and then, right? But then you have some people who want to do all you can eat, right? And we know that all you can eat doesn't have the same quality, doesn't offer the same value proposition, right? But that's what some people want. And one of the things that we were talking about in chat is there are some people who want those unique, singular, high quality experiences that rate highly on Metacritic and are key kind of AAA experiences that are in the zeitgeist, right? But not everyone wants that. Some people want volume. Some people like to toe dip. Not everyone is as super focused on game completion as the PlayStation demographic is. And again, I think that that's fine, right? More customers in the market is overall good for the business, and there is that differentiation. But while I think it's okay, definitely, obviously, to cite what we might want specifically, I think it's also important not to be entirely dismissive of other demographics on the market.
Yeah, and that's why I said Hamp. I try to emphasize me and letting people know it's okay if you like those experiences. You know, like if you're somebody who wants a back catalog or access to a library of content, that's fine. You know, so
Absolutely.
yeah,
but even then, if you do look at the context of your question is, what does Xbox need to do in 2023? In 2022, they provided a large number of indie games that, you know, through Game Pass, if you subscribe to it, that made, if you are someone who isn't a AAA gameplay kind of graphics whore, right? If you care enough to give indie games a shot, then yeah, like you probably really felt like you got your money's worth because you played a large number of games that were of high quality, but just weren't AAA quality that came through that service last year. That's it, right? That when it comes to what do they need to do in 2023 to improve, this is where people need to let their actions speak instead of their words, because like everyone pretends like they got no problem with constructive criticism, and then as soon as they hear constructive criticism, they always pushing back on it. Well, I thought you didn't have a problem with that. It's not like we said Phil Spencer has a fat head or Matt Booty got bullied in school because his last name was Booty, which he probably did, but regardless, the fact it's like we're not like picking on them. We're saying giving constructive criticism on what needs to improve. And as soon as you say that, there's always somebody that's got to jump in. Well, I mean, I have fun with Game Pass, and I played all these games. And I'm like, that's just literally not what we're talking about. So, like, why is it that people can't just accept that?
Right, and I don't disagree with you. I mean, people who have been on the show have heard my hour-long lecture on what I would do, right, to fix Microsoft in the production pipeline. So I'm not going to go into that tonight. I absolutely agree with you with that being the topical question. I just wanted to cite the pushback on what I saw a lot in the chat, which was that Game Pass is of no value. It doesn't need to exist. Nobody wants it, right? This kind of highlights the two different kind of user bases that I talked about today on Twitter, right, that I run into, which is, you know, Xbox fans, you guys aren't going to like it, but I'm going to say it, right, tend to be delusional and cite small little anecdotal facts as if that's some major proof point when it is absent of corroborated evidence, right? But by the same token, PlayStation fans tend to be arrogantly narcissistic in looking at through the world as everybody wants to be like me and everybody wants what I want. And I'm like, that's
yes,
not
absolutely.
That's so true.
Even, and I'm about to jump off, right?
They also
even
cannot
Borbor
accept any criticism of Sony PlayStation first party studio games. They can't accept any criticism of those games whatsoever. If a story is boring, it's boring. Sorry. Go ahead, man.
I gotta jump off. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Hamp. See you, man. Yeah, that's true. Real quick, Slimo. Let me get Falky in here real quick because I got a hard stop here at 7:00 before I get yelled at. Falky, what's up, man?
Hey, mate. How you going? You can hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
We can, man.
Excellent. Sorry,
I will be kind. I will be kind on the audio. Kinder than I was to Lee. Go ahead, man.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry for being so long to jump in after invite. As I went to jump in, I got a business phone call. So, just on the broader topics and what Slow-Mo's been talking about, value is always subjective. People like it, people don't like it. Game Pass, you know, it's that's not the point of the conversation, and it hasn't been the point of the conversation of the whole podcast with the whole last 2 years since the new generation started. It comes back to an old adage: what have you done for me lately? What has any of the big gaming companies done for you as an individual lately? And if you postulate it or look at it from that lens, what's PlayStation done lately? What's Nintendo done lately? What has Embracer Group? What has Activision, EA, NetEase, Tencent? Like, think of what have they done for you lately? Well, the biggest issue, which links back to Xbox, is whilst yes, they are bringing games into their subscription service, they're not bringing in the level of games or the type of games that are attracted to or attracting those big game players, the people that want to play those big games. And yes, they sit back and line up 2023 and go, oh, it's going to be brilliant, it's going to be excellent. Again, we're still waiting. What have you done for me lately? Like, come on, give me something. If you haven't got first-party games that are going to hit because you've got delays and issues and all the rest of it, that's fine. Where's the third-party AAA games that are going to hit the platform? Particularly for Game Pass, if we're talking about that. Where's the big third-party stuff? Where's the top-end AA stuff? Where's the gap filler stuff? Like, the stuff that is coming in is few and far between, even with that gap filler pieces. It's like Slomo was saying before. They just don't have that cadence release of backfilling the gap. And, you know, High on Life was best and biggest launch game in Game Pass history and all the rest of that. Well, but you line that up against other games that were released in that period that didn't hit Game Pass, does it really still hold water? That comment, you know, it's viewing it in such isolation just to get some kind of metric out there to appease the, you know, the extreme left and extreme right of the fan bases. Kind of pointless. You know, enjoy your games. I play on PlayStation because they've got games that I like. Play on PC now because they've got a heap of indie games that I think are pretty interesting, and my son plays there. I spend a lot of time playing on the Nintendo Switch as well because that's where our family gets together in games. So, you know, if you're going to take this position of, oh, it's not a game because you got to read it, or it's not a game because it doesn't have first-person shooter, it's just fuck off. Enjoy what you want to play. Play it where you find the best value for you to access it is, and just enjoy it. And don't shit on everyone else because it's not exactly how you personally think it should be done.
Facts. Absolutely.
That's a great point.
Agree on that.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. But look, gentlemen, I do have a hard stop here because I'm going to get looks soon.
Oh yeah, I know the look.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I got
you
kids.
Still on that podcast?
Yeah, exactly. You told me an hour.
Right. I actually have to. I was about to say I have to run too because I got to get the kids ready for stuff ready for school for tomorrow.
Yeah, I do. I actually do. Yeah, I got to do the same as well. So. But look, I want to give, first of all, give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening, and you know, do me a favor, hit that like button, and if you're new to the show, subscribe, hit the bell notification, so you're alerted when we go live. I may do another BRAP rant about CES. I know Sony's doing their CES at 8 p.m. today, and
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think they're gonna focus on PlayStation VR 2. So
probably some TV stuff because CES isn't about
no TVs,
gaming.
no TVs this year for Sony.
Really,
they're not announcing any Bravia TVs this year at CES.
What?
They're not ready. They're not ready yet.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So all right, PSVR 2. I mean, it's not going to be solely on gaming because CES is always electric. I'm about to say electric car. What else do you think they'll be doing? Like maybe more music centric, like
movies. They're gonna be talking about their motion capture and their image capture tech specifically for movies.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, I'm even more excited now to see it now. Yeah, because I was gonna check it out, of course, but yeah, I love reading and seeing more about like the details of performance capture and how it works and all that stuff. And look, like people shout out to the heavens about how much they love Hellblade. I wonder how many of them actually played it, but like the Ninja Theory's sole capability of being able to make that game on the kind of budget that they had with just like less than 30 people working on the game was because they owned their own proprietary performance capture technology to do that. So they didn't have to go, because like that stuff's expensive. So like they didn't have to go out and spend money on that. They did it all in house. So like, yeah, just all that stuff is always so fascinating. I love to see, because like Sony's like the industry leader at that. I love to see what they're going to show.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I know we've all got to go. I've got a meeting to get to as well. I'm going to shoot you a DM.
A meeting.
A meeting, yes.
Yeah, he's in Australia.
Where are
man.
you?
He's in Australia.
Oh my God, you're in Australia. Okay,
he's on the other side of the world, man.
I mean, like, I heard the accent. I'm terrible at accents. I couldn't place if it was Australian or British or whatever. I'm terrible at accents. I apologize. But like, so you're basically like you're probably drinking coffee and getting your day going. So yeah.
It's 11 a.m. over here now, so I'm on coffee number 14 for the day.
And it's Thursday over there.
It's Thursday. That's great.
I can tell you the world is just as fucked up today on the Thursday as it is on Wednesday your side.
I love that. Yeah. That's funny. All right. Well, hey, Falky, thank you for joining, man. I appreciate you jumping in as always, and big shout out to Hamp, who joined us briefly via Bluetooth in his vehicle, and Slow-Mo, thanks for jumping on as well, man. I appreciate it.
Ain't no problem. Damage Per Second podcast tomorrow on Forte's channel. 9
Is Forte
p.m.
alive?
Standard Time. Huh?
Is he alive?
Live.
Is he
Now?
alive? Forte, where's he
alive?
been?
Oh yeah,
No,
I talked to him earlier. We were talking earlier. So he's alive. He's still around. He might even join us for Halo later. If he doesn't join us for Halo later, he's a fraud.
I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him too, by the way. Yeah.
But no, yeah, he's good. But Damage Per Second DPS podcast tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our first episode of the year. So please come through, join us. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, and always a great show. So, all right, everyone. Hey, what's up, T-Rock? T-Rock, you should hop on Halo Infinite too. I don't think T-Rock will though. But look,
I don't think T-Rock's ever played a first-person shooter before.
I don't think he has either.
Yeah, I don't think he likes.
Definitely third person.
Third person, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you again in the live chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And we'll catch you next time. Again, I may do another BRAP rant that's more CES focused, but we'll catch you. But yeah, give me a follow on Twitter at @BRAP_podcast, so you're up to speed with all the announcements related to the show. So everyone have a great rest of the evening. We'll catch you later. And please check out DPS tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on your channel, right, Slow-Mo? I get that right?
Forte.
Well, on Gaming Forte's channel. So 9 p.m. tomorrow night. So check them out. Thank you.